Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
It's Friday. It's a day that everybody loves to enjoy. I hope and pray all is well with you. Today, what is today? I think today is day number 11 or day number 12 with my Ultraspeaking podcast. The days are starting to go by fast and it's getting a little bit more challenging. That is for sure. Let me look something up here real quick. Actually, today is day 12 of my Ultraspeaking podcast where I do an impromptu podcast. We're up to 8 minutes for this week with the Ultraspeaking app giving me the title for today's episode. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, wherever you are in the world, one of the things that we all struggle with is turbulence. In fact, one of the reasons why Ultraspeaking does such a great job is because it mimics turbulence when we find ourselves in some kind of speaking engagement. And the reality is, maybe we shouldn't even say public speaking because we all talk all the time. The challenge for many people, including myself from time to time, is how do we handle the turbulence? But turbulence is not merely for speaking or public speaking. We live in a very turbulent world. Republicans, Democrats, countries, wars, marriages. I think the stat may be close to 50% of marriages are ending in divorce. This would include people outside of the church and even in the church. Why? Well, I have some reasons, but one of the reasons is we don't know how to handle turbulence. The reality is in life, we're all going to experience some kind of turbulence. If we can navigate the storms and land the plane with minimal damage, this is the best possible way to do it. The challenge, though, is how do we actually do it? Well, there's a couple of ways to go about this. When we go to the Word of God, the Bible, in particular, I believe it's Acts chapter 27, where Paul is on a ship and he experiences a great deal of turbulence. Yet his faith remained constant, strong, steadfast, sure, steady, rock solid. So if you want to handle turbulence, it begins by faith. Faith in God, faith in Jesus Christ. I know a lot of people won't always accept this, but turbulence, the biggest kind of turbulence we're all going to face in life, is way bigger than the stock market or politics. Whether or not we have to find a job on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Indeed. Well, the biggest turbulence, uncertainty, is dealing with something far greater, our souls, where we're going to spend eternity. Sin, life. It begins with faith in Jesus. For Paul, the way that he managed turbulence, and it's not to say that Paul never had fear. Read 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 8, 9, 10, and 11. But Paul navigated and handled turbulence, went through the turbulence, relying upon the Lord. For me, that's how I have to handle my turbulence in life. And that's what I teach, that's what I preach. Rock solid faith in Jesus Christ. The three Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in Daniel chapter 3, they were forced to make a decision, bow down to the golden idol of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, or else be thrown into a fiery furnace. That's some turbulence. They didn't bow down. They didn't know whether or not God would deliver them but they give us a great example of how to handle turbulence, fear, the unknown, the uncertainties of life, trust in God. What turbulence are you going through? Maybe it's in your family, maybe it's in your finances, maybe it's in your fitness, maybe it's even in your faith. Number one, as we think more about turbulence, we have to know that turbulence is a fact of life. We all will experience turbulence, shaky moments, shaky ground, uncertainty, doubt. If we don't understand that to be true and try to think that everything is just going to go exactly the way that we want it, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. We have to know that there are going to be challenging moments in our lives. Even the best person that can see around corners, that can predict the future, quote unquote, or look at trends at least, they can't have every single situation figured out. So you got to know, number one, that turbulent times are going to come. Number two, that just means that you do the best you can to be prepared. Know, acknowledge. Number two, be prepared. Well, how do we get prepared for turbulent times? Well, we keep ourselves in a position of preparation. You see, when we know that uncertain times are going to come, we don't overextend ourselves financially, physically, time-wise. We live within our means. We work hard. We save for the future because we know there is going to be a rainy day. The saying that I guess grandmothers used to say all the time, save up for a rainy day. Well, those days are going to come. So we prepare. The challenge, though, with this is that a lot of people don't prepare. I have been guilty of this, and it doesn't feel good. I got my car taken into the shop for maintenance. I'm doing pretty good with that. And I was talking to one of the employees there. I was telling her about how I've been trying to make preparations for the next 5 years and just thinking in advance. She was a little bit surprised when I said, "You're thinking 5 years ahead?" I said, "Yeah." See, I've started doing that more. And even with my calendar, I have my calendar planned for the entire year. Now, things are going to change. But she was surprised, like, man, I've never done that. And I don't think a lot of people do, much less think about eternity or 20 years or 25 years or 30 years in advance. That's hard to do. But there is something to be said about at least thinking and preparing for tomorrow or for next week or for next month or for next quarter and even for the next year. People who plan the Olympics 2028 in Los Angeles, they've already made preparations. The hand of the turbulence. Most important way is always going to have faith in God. Know that there are going to be turbulent times. Prepare. Then the last thought I guess I give you for today's episode is act accordingly. When that time comes, breathe, stop, pray, reflect, consider, slow down, act accordingly. Stay in that moment. So whatever that turbulent time may be, you will be able to land the plane with the least amount of minimal damage. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow. Day 13 coming up. I can do, so can you. God bless.